Welcome everyone to our first year of the year, Tafshin Pei Bet 5782.
Promise to be blessed year.
Teheh Shana Parnasa Bashefa. Should be a year of Parnasa Bashefa. Be'ezrat Hashem. This my good friend Arizal Rahman told me, Kidush of the year. Teheh Shnat Parnasa Bashefa. Last year was Teheh Shnat Parnasa Be'osher. Tafshin Pei Aleph. This year Bashefa.
Amen.
So, I want to say we had a lot of fun before. We sold the Trogim, Lavim, Baruch Hashem, and we had food, Baruch Hashem, and everything was nice and well. But I want to talk about something that kind of bothered me till today. I can't get rid of the point. Before I do so, our shiur is the Hatzlachat Refuah Shlema Gabriel ben Rachel, and for the Hatzlachat of the Shimono family, Yisrael ben Asher, his wife Michal, his kids Yosef Chaim, Elisheva Tamar, all of his children, Hashem yiten lahem bracha v'atzlacha, yishod gedolot, refuah bracha, chatima tova, chatima tova. So I want to talk about a bit more of a serious point. It's the first year of the year, and the topic today was Kidush Hashem and Tochecha. Kidush Hashem means sanctifying Hashem's name, and Tochecha means rebuke. When you see a person doing an Aveira, you gotta tell him you can't do this Aveira. When does this mitzvah apply? When does it not apply? And we spoke about this on Shabbos. And I also don't want any, side comments. Just, listen. Pretend it's a drasha of Shabbat Shuvah. And I want to remind you what happened over here. Something that really bothered me on Shabbat. I was sitting here giving my shiur. I can't get rid of the food. I cannot. Till now, I cannot get rid of it. And I was sitting here on Shabbat. We were giving a shiur, our famous mincha of Shabbat shiur. And we were talking about Kidush Hashem, dying in the name of Hashem. And somebody said that nobody in this room will die in the name of Hashem. There's those kind of thing that today a person will die in the sanctification of Hashem's name. And we talked back and forth. The rabbi gave a shiur in the Mincha of Shabbat about it, and he said how the Baal Tanya said that every person, every Jew, every real Jew, if he's not Erev Rav or Amalek, inside of him he has a nitzot. You just have to know how to spark it up. And he gave a famous story about a man called Yosef ben Shalom. He said it a bit differently, so I'm going to tell you the story right now in a different way, and I'm going to tell you a secret also that also Gerim have that spark. Some Goyim have that spark, because some Goyim, their Nishamot were at Har Sinai, but for some reason they were very connected to a Klippa called Klippat Noga. Klippat Noga. This Klippa called Klippat Noga, it surrounds Hashem's Kisei HaKavod, and sometimes, you have an electromagnetic field, it starts to suck up some good sparks, right? It starts to suck up some good stuff. So this Klippat Noga sucked up the souls of Jewish people, the souls, and those Jews come back as Goyim, and they have to convert to Judaism. It's very tough for them to do that, by the way, because it's very hard. You tell a Goy you have to shake 3 myrtle leaves, 2 willow leaves, a palm branch, and a citron fruit, and every Sukkot for 8 days, and 7 of those days are midrabanan. What are you talking? You gotta keep Shabbat is not such a big deal, because Shabbat is you're proving that Hashem exists. There's the Goyim, by the way, they're called a 7th-day evangelists. I remember walking in Brooklyn one day to my sister lives in Brooklyn, and she had her son's brit in Brooklyn. So we were there and we were walking, and they were Goyim coming out of their Beit Avodah Zarah, and they were Shomrei Shabbat. In their way, they kept Shabbat. They kept 7th day, not the 6th day, not the 7th, not the first day like most Goyim do. The first day, for them that's the holy day. Sunday, right? Sunday. Okay? And they keep Shabbat. In their way, they say Hashem created the world in 7 days. There are a group of Goyim like that. So it's not such a big deal. But to tell a person that if you don't eat a kazayit of wafer bread on the first night of the 15th night of Nisan, And if you don't do it, you're mevatel the mitzvah, the oraita of Pesach. You have to eat it within 7 to 9 minutes, 4 to 9 minutes. You know, and the etrog, if it has a black dot, it's pasul. And if it has 2 leaf marks in the same place, you're not allowed to bite. And the hadas, if it's not mishulash, if it's not 3 leaves all on the same line, at least 13 centimeters, rov mishulash, it's pasul. Like, what the heck are you talking about, son? And if the aravot are saws, you know, there's some aravot, they're straight, some of them have saws. It's like a saw, right? That's pasul. You know, like, what's the difference? It's a saw. How did some person say? It's just a leaf, Rabbi. It's just a leaf. Who cares? It's just a leaf. You understand? And if the tefillin, if it's not black, if it's... I want my tefillin to be yellow. What do you guys have against the colors of the rainbow? What's the big deal? I want my tefillin. And if the tefillin is a certain size, if the tefillin is on the forehead, you didn't fulfill your mitzvah of tefillin. This a goy cannot grasp it. In the Judaism, lahavdil. If a person goes to work to learn karate, he goes to the sensei. He says, guys, from now on you can't eat fish. You can't eat anything but fish. Protein. And fish, not every fish. This fish you could eat, that you cannot eat. And when you sit, the right leg has to be like, sensei, what's the difference? If the right leg's on top of the left leg, and if I eat this fish or that fish, this, if you want to be black belt, you got to do that. You got to do that. Lahavdil, that person comes to the Torah, then he could appreciate the Torah. When you put on your shoes, first you put on the right shoe, and then the left shoe. And then you tie the left shoe, and then you tie the right. But when you come home, first you take off the left shoe, and then you take off the right shoe. What's the big deal? It's like karate, lahavdil. You want to be a black belt? You want to reach the top thing? It's not just a leaf. You're just meat and bones, by the way. Who put the neshama inside of you? Vayipach ba'apav nishmat chayim. Hashem blew into you a neshama. So too, when you take those leaves, I'm going to tell you now a secret. Nobody's going to tell you the secret. When you take those leaves, the myrtle leaves and the palm branch and the willow leaves, the willow branch and the citron, the etrog, when you say the bracha on it, your breath becomes its neshama. To the point where the Mekubalim say each one of those arbat haminim, 4 species, correspond to the parts of your body. And if a person, the Ari says, haggles in the price, no, 25, no, 30, no, 40, no, he's haggling back and forth, it's a chilul Hashem. When you go with your wife to a hapizga or to whatever, what's a big one? The Bentley, you know? Doma. You go to a nice restaurant, one sitting, $1,000.
And a tip.
$200. But when you buy your etrog and lulav, which is a deorait, Hashem, I give you money to do this. For $20, you're killing the guy. Yeah, he's making his money. But that's how much he charges you. Why did Hashem give you the parnasah if it's not for the point to do the mitzvah? No such a kind of thing to haggle when it comes to mitzvot. No such kind of thing. Mitzvah comes, never in my life that I haggle when it comes to buying mitzvot. In my life. I go to a guy, give the price. That's the price there. It's Hashem's mitzvah. I put the neshama inside the hadas. Especially me. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret also. The number one mean, one of the 4 meaning, we have etrog, lulav, hadas, arava. The one that's going to be the most pasul, I'm telling you right now, people who are listening, is the hadas. The hadasi. Not the etrog, not the lulav, not the arava. Those are easy to be kasher. It's the hadas. It needs to be meshulash. The hadas has to be 3 leaves that stem from the same place.
Why did they sell it? Says mishulash.
Huh?
It says on it mishulash.
Open it and check it.
So why did they sell it?
Open it and check it.
Check it.
Did I sell it? Open it, Rebbe. Open it and check it. Open it and check. Okay, so you paid another $15 to buy Aleph Hadassim. Those are like, you open it up, you're not going to find, everything is on the same. And even then you need Siyata Deshmaya. Who knows, one Arab in Israel was not making it Mishulash over there. Even there you need Siyata Deshmaya. You have to daven to Hashem, get up Siyata Deshmaya. Even in that, it's not a joke. You see, we think that we're great people. You're just meat and flesh. You're flesh and blood. If Hashem didn't inside of you, Nishmat Chayim, what would you be right now? A heap of bones. Calcium, magnesium. Clay you would be. You would be dirt.
Not even. Liquid.
You would be liquid. What would you be? 80% water you are, or 90%.
Buys liquid.
You're all liquid, by the way. You're water. Like Jerry Miller says, when it rains, daven. Today I was talking to my wife. She was doing something, and I'm like, oh, didn't you just do this? She said, yeah, 6 months ago. I'm like, wow, how does time fly in life? A second ago you were this age, second ago you were that. I remember the day, first day I went inside, Lo Aleinu, to university. Some people today are starting university. They open and close their eyes, they're already going to be out. What Hashem gave you money for, not to do mitzvot? So we were sitting on the Shabbat, and the person said nobody will give his life on Kidush Hashem, and it bothered me a lot. And the reason it bothered me because the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, Peitet, 89, says that Mashiach won't come in the merit of Avraham Avinu, which is Chesed. Mashiach won't come in the merit of Yaakov Avinu, which is Tiferet. Mashiach will come in the merit of Yitzchak, which is Gevurah. And Yitzchak comes, his main merit is Mesirut Nefesh.
With Gurah, he's still Mesirut
Nefesh. Yeah, that's why he was Moser Nefesh. That's why he was Moser Nefesh. That's why he gave up his life. That's why, because he was Gevurah. The Gemara says a story about 250 children, boys and girls that went to be sold as slaves in Rome after the destruction of the Second Beit HaMikdash. Beautiful children from Yerushalayim. And they heard the slave masters say that they're going to be sold for the, I don't want to say what kind of homes, to be used as entertainment. And not in the gladiator ring. We all know what the Romans were famous for. And the boys said to the girls, what are we going to do? These Jewish boys and Jewish girls. And the girls said, we're dying on Kidush Hashem. And they jumped first. The girls jumped first. And then the boys jumped. And the Gemara said, do they have Tchiyat HaMetim? Masechet Gitin. Do they have Tchiyat HaMetim? They're going to come back? How are you going to bring them back to life? They're in the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the Mediterranean. And the Gemara says, a pasuk.
And it was suicide.
Yeah, and it was suicide. Mi Bashan Ashiv, I'll bring them back from Bashan. Ashiv, I'll bring them back mi Mitzulot Yam, from the depths of the sea. Even those who died and they're buried in the depths of the sea, I'll bring them back too. There is no kind of thing, a real Jew, he's not willing to give his life on Kidush Hashem, and it bothers me so much. And you know, I see this as a message to myself. Whoever is not willing to give his life on Kidush Hashem to Hashem, he has no business being a Jew.
He has no business to be
no side comments. If a Jew doesn't give his life to Hashem, he has no business saying every day, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. He has no business. If you cannot imagine, if a goy would come to you and say, convert to Kritmach, be Oved Avodah Zarah, and you'd say, I will die on Kiddush Hashem and I will not do that, you'll say, Chai Beseder. I'll tell him I will, but later on I won't. Then you have a nitzot of Chas Shalom of Amalek inside of you. You have to get rid of it. You have to work on yourself to get rid of that. And it's not going to help for you to say, and it's hard for me to say this, but I have to say this, it's not going to And many tears were felt because of this. It's not going to help to say, you don't know what you're in this situation. You don't know what the situation? You know how many Jews lived in this world? God told Abraham, your descendants will be like the stars of the sky and the sand of the sea. You know how many Jews lived in this world, Rabbi Yehuda said? If we wouldn't have been massacred in every generation, you know how many of us would be today? The Chinese we would have put in our back pocket. 2 billion of them, 3 billion. The Indians, I think, overcame them. We would have put them in our back. You know how many Jews would be today in the world? Rabbi Yehuda said, we would have overrun this world. But every generation, millions of us are killed. 100 years ago was the Holocaust. About every 100 years, there's a disaster. I think the coronavirus was a chesed of Hashem she'en kidugmata for a generation that can't handle pressure. I think so. The coronavirus was a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was on a silver platter. Said, guys, take it.
They wouldn't handle the war.
We wouldn't handle more. But you know what? We in this room would handle it. You have to say, who wouldn't handle more? Those guys who are far from Hashem. The guys who think that tefillin is just a piece of leather. A Sefer Torah is just deer skin with ink on it. Those guys wouldn't handle it. But you sitting over here, Chaim Kulachem Hayom, how could you say the Torah? What are you living for? What are you sitting on Yom Kippur and saying, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchut Olam Vayit? You think about it for a second? Today you're 30, tomorrow you're 40. Before you know it, you're going to be 60, 70. What are you living for? You're going to have to say hello to the Creator. How could you say you can't give your life on Kidush Hashem? Rabbi Yosef Karo, you see that Shulchan Aruch over there? You see that over there, Shulchan Aruch? All the Rav Ovadia Yosef's books, everybody, Ben Ish Chai is based on that. They're not even equal to the finger of the Rav Yosef Karo. The finger of Ben Ish Chai is not even equal to the finger of Rav Yosef Karo. You know who Rav Yosef Karo was? Zaken v'Yoshev v'Yeshiva. He was the Ari HaKadosh's Kudo. The Ari HaKadosh chose him as an in-law. You know what he said in his book Magid Mesharim? He had in his time a guy called Rav Shlomo Molcho. Listen to this. Rav Shlomo Molcho, he was Portuguese. I don't know if you guys know Jewish history. The Jews, when they left Spain in the Spanish Inquisition by the Brushaid Isabella, I have no idea why Jews called their daughters Isabella. From the name Izebel, Isabella. Chas v'shalom, she was the biggest mirshat. She was probably a Gilgul of Izebel. She was the biggest mirshat with the Dominican monks. She convinced her husband, which he only married her for the money, because he was a gambler, to kick all the Jews out of Spain that were there for over 1,000 years. Wow. It was the golden age of Spain. Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, the Rambam's father, all the tzaddikim, Sfaradim, came from Spain. And he told the Abarbanel, he said, you stay. I need you as my treasurer. I need a Jewish accountant, CPA. He said, where my nation goes, I go. The massacre that happened to the Jews when they left Spain, the massacres. The Arabs, when they saw the Jews leaving, when they went to Morocco is next to Spain, they used to take the Jewish girls and they used to say to the fathers, we'll take them in, because the Jews, I'm sad to say this, they closed the city of Fez. They said there is no place in here for beggars. There's not enough room, because they used to bring magefot, coronaviruses, all these kind of viruses. They closed the city. The Arabs say, oh, we're going to take them in. They used to be with them. And then stick a sword, that's what the kinot say, to kill them, in case they would be pregnant with a Jewish child. They used to kill them. There's so much kinot written about this time. This is what happened in the Spanish Inquisition. Rav Yosef Karo, he was 9 years old during the Spanish Inquisition. 9 years old. His father, his name was Ephraim, Rav Ephraim. He took his son by the hand, he took him to Portugal, to King Emmanuel. This Rasha Merusha got also into a marriage with Queen Isabella's niece or something. He took all the Jews like cattle. He put them through a gate. He says, whoever goes through the gate will live. Whoever not, shchita, unless you convert. They used to take Jews. They used to have this kind of device, torture device, the Inquisition. It used to have spikes. But the spikes used to not connect to the vital points, to make the person bleed to death until he accepted JC. These guys were such torturous Rashaim, these Kritmaks. They used to put them to such death. And they used to die in Kidush Hashem. You know LaGuardia? You know it's named after a child that they say the Jews killed? I cannot look at that airport, you know that? Because I know what the name means. LaGuardia, the holy child of LaGuardia, they used to call it in Spain. The holy child of LaGuardia. What's it named after? LaGuardia. There was how did the Inquisition start? His name was I forget his name. Shem Rishaim Yerkav. Who needs to know his name anyways? Thomas the something Thomas. And Turkamada, his name was Shem Rishaim Yerkav. Thomas the Turkamada. This guy was a Jew hater. He said to Queen Isabella, "We got to get these Jews out, but we need to find a libel." He took a kid, a Kritmach kid. He killed him. He was in a place in Spain called La Guardia. And from that started the Spanish Inquisition. This airport over here is called LaGuardia after him.
Also the college.
Also the college. You guys don't even know the history what you're going into. I can't even look at that airport. And it's such a beautiful airport. They just renovated it and stuff. The holy child of LaGuardia. The Rav Yosef Caro, he was 9 years old when he left Spain. He went to Portugal. Portugal is Rishaim. In Lisbon, that's where his place was. There was a big Jewish community over there. King Emmanuel, he massacred there. He massacred them. Massacred the Jewish people over there. When Rav Yosef Caro, he ran away to Egypt after that. He was a young boy. First he went to Turkey. He was a young boy. He learned Torah. He used to say, "I used to eat the seeds from the dirt." He didn't have any money to eat food. He used to take the seeds from the ground and he used to eat it like that under his uncle. His name was Yitzchak. And then he went to yeshiva to Rav Yaakov Berav. Rav Yaakov Berav, you think he accepted him in yeshiva? Today, if somebody doesn't accept you in yeshiva, oh, these religious Jews, this, that. He went to Rav Yaakov Berav. He kicked him out of. He didn't kick him out of yeshiva. The Anhala, the administration, kicked him out of yeshiva. You don't have money to pay. You can't learn over here. Rav Yosef Caro, when he grew up to be the Gadol Hador, he called Rav Yaakov Berav Avi Mori, my father, my Rebbe. He said, because he used to listen by the door, the drashot. He says those drashot listen by the door. That's who made me who I am. Instead of breaking him, putting him down, until today in Ilchot Nida, he brings in Rav Yaakov Berav. Rav Yaakov Berav gave him smicha from 200 rabbis. Why do we call him Maran? He had a magid. Rav Yosef Kar, he had a magid. The magid used to come teach him Torah. He's told a magid, in his time there was a guy called Rav Shlomo Molcho, who was Portuguese. He found out he was Jewish. He didn't know he was Jewish. He was from the Maranos, from the Conversos. Marano means pig. They used to call Jews pigs, P-I-Gs. He was a converso, and he found out that he was Jewish. He told the Jew rabbi, he says, "Give me a brit milah." He was 33 years old. His name was Emmanuel. Funny thing, his name was also Emmanuel. He changed his name to Shlomo Molcho. He said, "Give me a brit milah to the rabbi," and he was the kings in Portugal. His scribe. He said, "I can't give you a brit milah." He said, "If they catch me, I'm dead." In the night, he picked up his orla. He said the bracha al hamilah with his own knife. He cut it. He gave himself surgery. Wow. He fainted on the spot. He woke up. He had such a vision. It was almost prophecy. He went to the Pope to convert him. He went to Italy. This guy, Rav Shlomo Molcho, he went to Italy to convert the Pope. To convert the Pope. He said, "I'm bringing Mashiach." He had such a vision. He had two visions. It came true. Earthquake in Europe. He had a vision. It came true. And a huge rainbow. It came true too. All the goyim went crazy. They thought Mashiach is coming. Rav Shlomo Molcho, I have his book. And Rav Yosef Karo writes about him. He says over there, he went then to convert the Holy Roman Emperor. German he was. The Pope said, "I think you have something." They caught him. They tried to burn him. The Pope saved his life 3 times. You catch him. The Dominican monks burn him. He's gone. Can't catch him. He learned the Kabbalah from Rav Yosef Taitachak. He went to Germany to convert the Holy Roman Emperor, the King of Germany. This guy, Nazi Amalek, caught him, covered his mouth. Instead, he says Hashem. If he says Hashem, covered his mouth, he burnt him to death. Rav Shalom Gadaev. When Rav Yosef Kara heard about it, he told his Maggid, I want to die like that. In his book, Magid Mesharim, so I want to die like that. He never merited to die like that. 10, 20 times in his book, Magid Mesharim, he says, if I could die, I'm Kidush Hashem. You see, the Goyim, those jihadists, they blow themselves up. They take narcoman, shmarcoman, they take drugs, whatever, who knows. In Israel right now, in the north, 6 high-level, level 10 prisoners escaped. They dug a hole under their toilet. Hole maybe this big, size of my body. They slipped in through.
They helped them. Israel helped them.
4 of them got caught already.
Yeah, 4.
One of them, his name is Zechariah. There's a very famous journalist in Israel called Tzvi Yecheskeli. He was, in the special commando called Duvdevanim. They make themselves like Arabs. They go inside Gaza. They act like Arabs, this, that, and then when they need to take out some guy, they knock him out. He was one of those. He's religious. He became religious a couple of years ago. He said, how you became religious? He says, one of those guys who escaped, I made an interview with him. Because before I made the interview, he said, are you Jewish? He says, yes. He said, are you religious? He said, what does religion have to do with anything? He's like, you Jewish fool. Whether you're religious or not, I will still want to kill you. He made a kal vachomer to himself. He said, if this goy is telling me he makes no difference between religious, not religious, to him a Jew is a Jew. How can I not want to know what my Judaism past is? If he hates me so much, shouldn't I already know why he hates me? Every Jewish person sitting in this room, I'm telling you right now, we're going to go to Yom Kippur. Make yourself a big cheshbon nefesh. I beg you. You have 2 days left, 8th and 9th of Yom Kippur. Make yourself a big cheshbon nefesh. Ask yourself a question. Are you willing to the biggest mitzvah in the Torah to die on Kidush Hashem? If you're not, you still have a lot of work to do. You still have a lot of work to do in Yiddishkeit. Because Yiddishkeit is not about wearing tefillin. It's not about shaking a lulav in a throat. It's about love and fear. Yira'ah ve'ahava. It's about Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. It's about Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. It's about those thousands of Jews. You are their descendants. Who are you a descendant of today? Of those Jews who gave their lives up for Kidush Hashem. If you're not willing to give your life on Kidush Hashem, that means you don't love Hashem. You have no business saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokei Hashem Echad. Because if you love somebody, you'll give them your heart. You'll give them your liver. If you love your wife, you'll give her your liver. You'll give her your kidney. You'll give her your blood. If you don't love Hashem, then you're not willing to give Him anything. And I'm not giving you guys deen. I'm not talking to Hashem and saying, oh Hashem, you're kids. That's something else. I'm talking to us, to one another. There is no bigger mitzvah in the Torah than Kidush Hashem. You know why Yitzchak was chosen to bring Mashiach through him? You know why Rosh Hashanah is him? Because he had a secret. It's called Mesirut Nefesh. He gave his nefesh. When you do a mitzvah, you have to do it b'Mesirut Nefesh. I want to tell you guys a story, and I'll end with this. A story I was saving for Yom Kippur. I'm going to tell you guys right now. It's a true story. This past year, we had Ason Meron, the death of Meron, the death of Surfside. We had 3 Jews dying in Italy in a freak accident in a cable car. We had coronavirus still going on. A lot of freak accidents. Obviously, Hashem is speaking to us. I'll tell you a crazy story that shook me to my core yesterday. I was saving this for Yom Kippur before Ne'ilah. I'm going to tell it to you guys right now. There is till today. It's a true story. Sefer Torah is over here. It's a 100% true story. It's been verified hundreds of times. Till today, the names are said. You can check the names. Everything is real. There was a yeshiva called. This story was in the 1960s, right before the 6-Day War, 1967. There was a yeshiva, till today it exists. It's in Givat Shaul in Yerushalayim. It's called Yeshivat Preshburg. Preshburg is a city in Hungary where the Khatam Sofer used to live. In this yeshiva, they were Ravakim. Ravakim means single guys. It means before you go to Kollel, you're in Yeshiva Gedola. This yeshiva, every year before Rosh Hashanah, they used to make a trip to Tzfat. Now, I don't want to tell you guys, back then there was no coach buses with air conditioning and music and a driver and nice seats. Back then, a trip to the Tzafon didn't take 3 hours from Yerushalayim. It took him it used to take them a whole day. They used to come back only the next morning. They picked the best guys in the yeshiva, about 15 guys. The Rosh Yeshiva and the Mashgiach were sitting in the front by the driver, who was himself a Chiloni. Total ignoramus. This is the 60s. And everyone else were sitting in the back. And then there was, you know how those trucks have the place where you sit it's open?
Yeah.
2 guys were holding to dear life. The roads back then.
What roads?
What roads you talking about? There's no roads. You have to go. But they went every year. They used to go. It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. They went to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to daven for a good year. Promise you, this is a true story. They went. They get to Rabbi Shimon. They're sweating bricks, not bricks, cement bricks. They come out though with all their koach. These guys are Talmidei Chachamim. They're davening. They're crying. They're Rabbi Shimon. In the merit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai the Zohar. Then they said, listen, we're already in Tzfat. Let's go to the Ari HaKadosh. There is no Jew who goes to Tzfat, he doesn't dip in the mikveh of the Ari. It's a real Ma'ayan. It's a real it's a Ma'ayan. It's a spring. It's a spring water from the belly of the mountain. They go, Avraham, to Tzfat, to the Ari HaKadosh. They go to the mikveh. Now they made a deal within themselves. We're gonna make the Chiloni religious. Why? Everyone comes, they dips inside the mikveh. It says, if you dip in the mikveh, you're not gonna die without teshuvah. Back then, Chiloni had some masorah in him. So, really, this, that? Imerish. Let's go. He dips in the mikveh. It's cold. Today they put stoppers over there. Back then it was a continuous freeze. I dipped when it was a continuous thing. Today they put stoppers over there and they make it dark so you can't see who's going in with you. And it's stone. It's slippery. You never went? You should. To the Ari. Ari's mikveh. They go. The guy comes out. Be'emet, he comes out. He's like a new person. He says, wow, I feel something special in me. This, that. So one of the guys over there, his name was Ze'ev Tzvi. Ze'ev took an apple. He said, bracha, yakta bracha goyer. He says, what bracha I'm going to say? I don't even know the bracha on an apple. I never did bracha in my life. Ha'etz. Baruch atah Hashem. And everyone gives such an amen. The mountain shook from the amen. Wow, everyone had such a high. Wow, amazing. True story. You guys could check the dates and the names. Now, it's a dangerous mountain. Back then there was no roads. Or the roads were there, but it was very bumpy. Everyone's on a high. The Rosh Yeshiva sitting in the front. The guys are in the back. His hand slips on the steering wheel. It's a mountain. Ba ba bam! The whole truck flips down, rolls down the mountain. 3 guys died on the spot, including the Nahag. the driver. He died on the spot. Another 2 died. The gasoline opened up. It was burning hot. Fell on the Rosh Yeshiva and the Mashgiach. For 5-6 months, they had to treat their burns. And all the rest of the guys were alive. They were crawling out of the bus to get help. And they had to now go on top of the har. There was one boy who was alive. His name was Mordechai Pollack. Full of soot and dust. He was throwing up blood. They told him, stay. We're going to go up. You stay. He says, no, I'm going to go with you guys. He didn't take 4 steps. He sat on the rock. His neshama came out. He was the 4th dead guy. Time goes on, ambulances came, they went back to the yeshiva, it was a whole big thing in Israel, it was on the news, you could check it on the news, it's a true story. This guy, he had a best friend called Ze'ev. Ze'ev, his best friend, he was in the bus with him. Yeah, if he was alive, he stayed alive. Everyone, time heals all. Okay, happened, it was a big tragedy. How did Talmidei Chacham die like that? But, you die, whatever, people pass away, happens. Everyone eventually went on with life, but this Mordechai Pollack's friend, Ze'ev, he couldn't get over it. Every day, every night he's thinking, how Hashem did such a thing? What Avera there was to them that they died like that. On Erev Rosh Hashanah he showed what kind of Chilul Hashem came from that. Why they died like that? He's eating himself and eating himself, eating himself. 6 months later, about 6 months later, he falls asleep, he has a dream. In his dream, he sees his best friend, the 4th dead one, Mordechai Pollack, comes to him, dressed, his face is radiant. He said, Ze'ev, go on with your life. Some things, you're not allowed to ask questions. What I could tell you, every Friday, I'm in Yeshivat of Rashi. Every Friday, they take me to the mikveh in Shamayim, and I dip, and I go to the Yeshiva of Rashi, because every Friday I used to do Shnayim Mikra ve'achad Targum with Perush Rashi. And what permission I have to tell you is there was a big zera, and our deaths, we were the korbanot. Hashem took all of us, including the nahag who did the teshuvah at that moment. Hashem chose. Why? You can't know the cheshbon. I cannot tell you. But what I could tell you, go on with your life. He wakes up. You wake up, it's a euphoria. You just saw your dead friend in a dream. It was so clear. He washes his face, but like all things after you wash your face, the dream also washes away with you. He said maybe it was real. Maybe it was fake. It was probably fake. I'm thinking about him so much. Hi. But it's eating him. It seemed so real. So he started to look into how to do a she'elat chalom. How to ask a question from Shamayim that the answer will come to you. And he figures out, I have to talk for 40, I can't talk for 40 days. I have to fast for 2 days here, fast for 1 day there, not eat meat. I have to sleep clean, go to the mikveh before I go to sleep. He became so kadosh, this guy, that in his yeshiva they started calling him Ze'ev HaKadosh. He got a klitschka, a nickname in his yeshiva, in Preshburg yeshiva, until today it exists in Givat Ze'ev. They call him Ze'ev HaKadosh. True story. He made the she'elat chalom. Goes to the mikveh, wears white, he goes to sleep. No batir, no pituch. Nothing shows up to him in the night. He said, fine, probably was fake. But once you're already used to do something to pre-shoot, you can't help but continue. 1 year, he continues after the anniversary. After the Yortzeit comes, Erev Rosh Hashanah, and he's still doing sigufim. You get used to it already. He was single. His friend comes to him again. He says, Zev, from Shamayim, they forced me to come down to you again because so many things you're doing. I want to let you know what you saw the first time was true. It was a true dream, it wasn't fake, and I'm going to give you a sign. You're going to tell me I'm a faker. I will tell you a sign. In 7 weeks, you're going to get engaged. And I'm going to tell you the name of the girl you're getting engaged to. And it's not, I'm telling you even something. If you still don't believe I'm saying the truth, your mechuten, your father-in-law, has a brother that he thought is dead in the Holocaust. And exactly 3 weeks after your engagement, he's going to show up in Israel. Healthy and bari v'shalem. 2 signs I'm giving you. And he wakes up.
I'm getting married.
And I'm getting married. Then 7 weeks later, names everything was recorded. It gets engaged with this girl, this, that, and that thing. In the Tnaim, we know Ashkenazim don't do a kanchori, they do Tnaim. How much you're gonna give, how much you're gonna give. Contract. He tells his mechuten, his amak, future amak, tell me amak, you have a brother that's missing? That's not missing. He's dead! Every year we say on him Kaddish, Hashem yinkom et damo. Hashem should revenge his blood. He says, can I tell you something? He couldn't hold himself. In 3 weeks, your brother is going to show up in Israel. A bari, healthy, shalem, full. He says, listen, if he's not showing up in 3 weeks, I'm canceling the marriage. Because either you're sick in the head, or either you're a prophet. Lamaise. He showed up 3 weeks later. Names are all recorded. Everything is a true story, 100%. I wouldn't tell you the story if it wasn't real. He showed up, and every year in the yeshiva of Preshberg, this guy, Tzvi, Rav Tzvi Zev, his grandson says the story every Erev Rosh Hashanah. Names are all checked up, everything like that. You guys don't know how they look at you in Shamayim. Not the mayor of New York, not the governor of California, not the president of America. You sitting over here, Chaim Kulachem Hayom. You would be wise to remember that before Yom Kippur and throughout the whole year. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. We have a Kaddish.